Essentially, this would be a bad move for the Lakers if they decided to go through with this. This would just be the dumbest move I think they can make. I personally don't understand why Doc Rivers still gets a lot of mentions in regards to coaching, because his style just doesn't work. I mean, he's not a good adjustments coach. He doesn't make adjustments to where a team can better themselves if their back is against the wall. And the Lakers are their back is already against the wall. They already hit rock bottom basically this past season. They didn't even make the play-in tournament, where you have an opportunity to still make the playoffs, even though if you're a low-seeded team or not. They still couldn't make the play-in tournament with all the star players they had. They were horrible on defense. Russell Westbrook's not a fit. Anthony Davis never stays healthy. LeBron is getting older. He still can score, but it's a bunch of empty calories because it doesn't equate to winning, and he just can't carry a team anymore. So with all that being said, and on top of that, the Lakers are just a mess. Adding Doc Rivers is going to make the situation even more worse to me, because don't get me wrong, they will make the playoffs possibly, with Doc Rivers, possibly, if their defense can get any better, which I don't think it will. But at the same time, he just doesn't bring that winning mentality to me, because it's almost like, people praise Doc Rivers for being the coach of the Boston Celtics 10,000 years ago with Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and KG, and Rajon Rondo, that he was a good coach. And don't get me wrong, he is a good coach, but he's not a great coach. And the reason why he's not a great coach, how many 3-1 leads has he blown? He's blown 3-1 leads with superstars on his team. He had Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, he had, Kawhi, PG, and you look at this past series with the Philadelphia 76ers, I mean, he just doesn't make any good adjustments. Of course, everybody's going to blame Joel Embiid and, James Harden for not showing up, but it's a reason why these players don't show up and play well for this guy, because this guy's coaching style is not for them, and he really doesn't respond. He doesn't get the response from players that some coaches get, like a Ty Lue, like a Mark Jackson would. You see what I'm saying? Or like a coach on that level. You see what I'm saying? He doesn't get the response from players the way he should, because his coaching style is really outdated, and it really never was any good from the beginning. But when you have Paul Pierce, KG, and Ray Allen, and Rajon Rondo, a big four, with them, predominantly having 1 or 2 years left, in their career as the big three, and Rajon Rondo in his prime as a young guy coming in and being a very solid point guard, I mean, it just makes the situation, much easier for him to coach that, because they had so much superstardom everywhere. And the big three, and Paul Pierce, KG, and Ray Allen, they still had a good year or two left in their body to go out there and play at a supreme high level. And they did, and they won a championship. Matter of fact, they made it to 2 finals, but at the same time, they lost one, won one. And as I said, the one championship he won, he's just been an overrated coach ever since then, because he hasn't been a good coach in regards to championship caliber coach. He's done coached some of the best players that's ever played this game, and he's only got 1 championship out of all the great players he's coached. That is very, very unheard of, because you know why? He's just not that good of a coach. And I think the Lakers will be making a mistake if they went after him, because I just don't feel like he's going to make life better for them. I feel like he's going to, maybe get them to the playoffs or something like that, possibly, which is very doubtful, because they still don't have any defense. And that's just going to be pretty much it, because when you look at his resume, it's just not really that impressive to me, not overall. And like I'm saying, when it comes down to the Lakers, LA Nation, Lakers Nation, whatever you want to call it, it's about winning championships. It's not about just making the playoffs. You got 3 top 75 players on that team. Making the playoffs is just not good enough. And if Doc Rivers is going to come there, I think he's going to hurt their chances of winning a championship, just like he hurts everybody else's chances. I feel like if Philadelphia gets a different coach, I feel like they'll be a better team next year. I mean, that's just how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Because he's just not a championship level coach to me. Like I said, he got that one with like 4 of the top players of, 3 of the top players of all time. And, Rajon Rondo being one of the top point guards, in that time frame back then. But at the same time, it's like, since then, what has he done? He's done nothing. And if the Lakers are going to subject themselves to hire a coach like this, I mean, really, you're just going backwards still. You're not going to win a championship, because he just doesn't make good adjustments in the playoffs. We saw it out in the bubble with the Clippers. Everybody blamed Kawhi, PG, and we understandably so. Kawhi, I don't see how he got much blame. He just played bad one game out that whole series, which was game 7. I do understand that. But at the same time, you got to look at like he played good most of all the series up until that game 7, and Paul George struggled the whole series just about, or at least the last 3 games of the series. So, with that said, it doesn't matter. Coaches have to make adjustments when you see your players not playing their best, not playing at the level that they can, because you can make better adjustments to make a team, click still. It's just that players just don't respond to Doc Rivers. And I think it'd be an ultimate mistake, if, the Lakers happen to acquire, Doc Rivers. And I think they really should look away from this guy. I just don't think he's, all what he's cracked up to be. I think he's an overrated coach. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people will agree with me. He is, he is an overrated coach. And I just think that, they need to look elsewhere. I said before, they need to hire Mark Jackson if that's one of the candidates. They need to hire Mark Jackson because he's the one that can, make life a little bit different for the Lakers. Maybe not all the way, but, a little bit different, So like I said, I think they'd be making a big mistake, and I'm pretty sure maybe not all of Lakers Nation would agree with me, but I'm pretty sure a lot of Lakers Nation would agree that he's just not the head coach if you're trying to win a championship. If he's a temporary coach you're trying to get substitute until you can find somebody else, maybe then, but even still, I wouldn't even take the opportunity. I would just go with, another name out there that they have is Terry Stotts. Hell, he's a good regular season coach. He's coached the Blazers, and they've had, good records, during the regular season, won a lot of games, but he couldn't do much or, be the great coach that he, a lot of people thought he could be in the playoffs, even though he had, superstar players himself. But at the same time, that's the only thing you're going to get out of Doc Rivers is good, regular season play. Because when it comes to the playoffs and you're down 3-2 or 3-1 or up 3-1 in the series, Doc Rivers is not going to change anything. He's going to keep everything basic. He's going to keep everything the same. And when other teams figure out what you're doing, they're just going to exploit your weaknesses. And once they exploit your weaknesses, then, hey, the series is over with. We've seen Doc Rivers blow 3-1 leads more than any other coach in the NBA, I think. So, really, the Lakers, they just need to jump off that train and try to find a way to jump on another one. Because if you want to be a team that's going to suffer heartache or anything like that and run out, have a season to go out and, be embarrassed, or have a season that comes to an end unexpectedly, then that's the coach you want to get in Doc Rivers, because he's going to provide that. He's just very overrated. His, I even say his son, I don't even see how he's in the NBA. I think Austin Rivers is trash. I think his dad is a trash coach. I just don't really see no need for them being in the NBA. Not trying to take nobody's money away or anything like that, but they're not really serving any purpose. When I watch Austin Rivers, he doesn't serve any purpose for a team. He has games where he'll knock down a few shots, but for the most part, he's not reliable. He's just like his dad, a role player that never really is going to get the notoriety because he's just really not that good. And, Doc Rivers, like I said, he's had some decent seasons, but like I said, that one championship that he got, it was so long ago. Damn, I was probably, I don't even know. I think I was like in college or something like that at that time, or maybe a little bit after that. It was just so long ago. I can barely remember it. And most people can barely remember it either. Paul Pierce and them have been retired so long. Rondo has been an average washed up player for a while. So, it's been so long ago. It just doesn't even matter. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, if the Lakers want to have any chance of winning a championship, which that should be their aspirations with all the top players that they have, the top 75 players they have on their roster, they definitely need a coach with a little bit more of a backbone and a little bit more stability when it comes to coaching and finding ways to be effective and get the best out of players, because Doc Rivers just doesn't do that. He gets the best out of his main players, and the other players are just supposed to figure it out on their own, and he doesn't make any adjustments on the fly when his back is against the wall, when his team's back is against the wall, and then he just goes and points fingers and act like he don't know what happened or how they lost or why they lost, and he just needs to go back and sit down and think about it. That's the way he always sounds every post game when they lose. Oh, I don't know why we lost here. I don't understand this. We did this. We did that. So we got to go back and see film and all this crap. Well, he's been looking at film for years, and the film that he's looking at apparently has got a blurry television because it's not showing any type of film that's helping him become a better coach. So, as I said before, the Lakers better back off this one, find a way to get Mark Jackson or somebody else, but don't get Doc Rivers. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out the other videos, as I always say. And hey, Cali out.